Alright, so a few months ago, I made a video telling you not to use Cloud Code for your AI agency. I handled over 40 plus real estate agencies in my n8n workflows, and while I did mean everything I said, I think some things have changed, and I owe anybody who watched that video an update on that video. So, over the last few months, Cloud Code has gotten so good that we've actually moved a huge chunk of our agency work over to Cloud Code. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what's changed, how we're using it, and why I think the AI agency space has completely shifted. So let me be honest, when I made that video, Cloud Code was impressive, but it wasn't reliable. At least it wasn't reliable enough at the time. You'd ask it to build something and it would work, and then you'd ask it to make a small change and it would break the entire workflow, and that's just not something you can run a business on. But now it genuinely understands what you're doing, it remembers the full picture of what's already built, and when you ask it to make a change, it doesn't accidentally destroy everything else in the progress. Now, the gap between a cool demo on YouTube and actually usable for real clients paying you real money has closed dramatically. Now, the first thing that really hit me and that we noticed in my agency is onboarding new clients and how it used to take, a significant amount of time. With what we were doing before, we were doing it with n8n, and you're building everything step by step. So you're dragging the blocks, you're connecting them together, you're testing each connection, you're configuring the settings. Think of it kind of like you're building with Lego, but one brick at a time. It works, but it's just slow. With Cloud Code, when you describe what you want in plain English, it builds the whole thing. What used to take me and the team a full day now takes a couple of hours. And when you're running an agency and you're charging per client, faster setup means more profit per client. Simple as that. Now, one of the biggest problem I had before, in the last video, I literally said asking Claude to modify its own code is gambling. And at the time, I was right. But now, if you want Claude to make a tweak, you describe it, Claude makes the changes, and it actually works properly. Now, let me put that into perspective. Before, if a client said, hey, can you add a step that sends WhatsApp messages after a lead is qualified, I'd have to open up n8n, find this spot in the workflow, drag in a new block, configure it, connect it, test it. That's maybe 20 to 30 minutes for something that's simple. Now I just tell Cloud Code what I need and it's done. Takes a couple of minutes, not half an hour. And across 40 clients, 45 clients is what we're at now. That's massive time savings. Now it's important to understand we didn't just throw n8n in the bin. Think of it like n8n is the receptionist and Cloud Code is like the person in the background doing all of that work, doing all of the heavy lifting. In my agency, n8n will be the trigger for now. Let's say a new lead comes in, a form gets submitted, whatever it is, n8n then passes that information to Cloud Code. Cloud Code does the heavy lifting, the thinking, the processing, the decision making, and then it sends the result back to n8n. And in my opinion, here's why that's the smartest decision right now. The reason is because we don't actually know what the code is doing under the hood. And that's fine because n8n gives us that clear login of everything when we use n8n as the trigger and n8n as the output. If something goes wrong with a client, I open n8n, I can see here's what we sent to Claude, here's what Claude sent back, and that's usually enough to figure out what went wrong before ever touching a line of code. So n8n has gone from being this thing that does all of the work to being kind of like just a monitoring dashboard. It's like our safety net, and honestly, it works better this way. Now, this is a big mindset shift. You do not need to read the code to make this work. You're treating Cloud Code like a worker on your team. You give it a job, it does the job, and n8n is your way of checking if it's working or checking its work, full stop. That's it. It's like the same way you don't need to understand how your email server works to know that an email didn't send. You just check, did this email go out? What did it say? What came back? It's the same kind of workflow that we work here. n8n is where we check stuff. Cloud Code does the work in the background. Now let's look at this in practice. So say for one of our real estate agents, they get a new lead from Facebook, and here's what needs to happen. You need to check if the lead is in the CRM. That's the system where the agent keeps all of their contacts. If the lead isn't there, then we need to add them to the CRM. We need to send them a WhatsApp message, wait 24 hours. If they haven't responded, then send them a follow-up. If they have replied, then book them into the calendar. Now in n8n, you'd build this by dragging in maybe 8 to 10 different nodes. One block checks the CRM, then another block has the logic for if they're already in the CRM, then do this. If they're not, then do that. Then another block sends the WhatsApp message, and then another one waits. Another one checks if there is a reply. You get the idea. You're wiring up all of this together manually, testing each connection, making sure every possible path is handled. Now with Claude Code, you describe the entire flow in plain English and it builds the whole thing, all of that logic, the entire if this then that, all of them decisions, the connections to WhatsApp, the CRM, the timing, the follow-ups. Claude handles all of that. And then you just use n8n to trigger it and log what happened. That's the shift here. n8n becomes a dashboard, not the workshop. Now one more thing that's quite big. In the real world, things are messy. A lead's phone number might be formatted wrong, the CRM might return an error, the WhatsApp message might fail to send. In n8n, you need to think of every single one of these scenarios in advance and build a separate path for each one. Now this could be 4 or 5 extra nodes just for handling all of those errors on one step. Now with Claude Code, you just say if the WhatsApp message fails, try again, and if it still fails, then log it and move on. Now another quick one, but also it makes sense. Before anybody joined my team, they needed to have some sort of like n8n knowledge in order to understand our workflows and what we're building. So there's quite a bit of a learning curve involved. We have to hire more expensive people because they have to have like some sort of developer knowledge, and as you know, developers are expensive. But now if I was to hire somebody, all they really need to know is how to, in plain English, describe to Claude Code what they want to happen or the outcome that you want. So the skill you need went from knows how to use AI automations and software to can write a clear instruction. That's a much easier hire and also much cheaper. Now look, in the last video I called out the YouTubers who were hyping up Claude Code as the death of n8n, and at the time they were wrong. The tools were just not ready, but the direction that they were pointing in was actually right. The tools have caught up, and I'm telling you this from running this with over 40 clients of mine. So here's my updated take. I'm not telling you to abandon n8n. We use it every single day still, but if you're starting fresh and you're looking to scale faster, Claude Code should be doing all of the heavy lifting for you, and n8n should be your safety net in the background, not the other way around. Now that's going to be it for this video. If you want to build your own AI agency, I've got a free link in the second link in the description. You can download the templates, use them, and completely forget about me if you want. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Just go and build something useful. And if this video helped you, subscribe and leave a like below.